Heard about the massive, unprecedented protests raging in India. At least one of the more recent ones may have been the largest in a generation. These protests are threatening the power structure of the world's largest democracy and are being waged by farmers fighting for a fair living wage. Ian Pannell has more.
Javeer Nayan is fighting for his livelihood. He's joined hundreds of thousands of farmers who've packed up, left their homes and families to join what's being reported as the largest protest in the world.
This movement is the movement of the masses, from the poorest to the richest farmer. This movement is for everyone.
From violent clashes with police to storming Delhi's historic Red Fort. These farmers, India's largest voting bloc, have been out on the streets for months now, protesting Prime Minister Modi's controversial new agricultural laws. Already living hand to mouth, they say it'll push them even further into poverty.
This is not just a farmer's problem. Farmers won't suffer alone. This will be a problem for all of India.
The new laws would abolish guaranteed minimum prices for produce set by the government and allow buyers to set the price instead. The farmers fear this would be disastrous, driving down their incomes despite a pledge by Prime Minister Modi to double them by next year. He insists the laws give farmers the freedom to directly sell produce to buyers, unshackling them. But instead, the laws have shaken India's 150 million landowning farmers to the core. And the anger, the protests, show no signs of letting up. The farmers' movement has captured the attention of the world, even celebrities outside of India tweeting their support. But for millions in the country, this is deeply personal. Over half of India's 1.3 billion people rely on some kind of farming to get by.
These are all the animals. They're very important to our farming. It's thanks to them we have our livelihood.
Right now, the world's largest democracy is in turmoil, with neither side willing to give way. India's Supreme Court suspended the laws until further notice, but the farmers want a full repeal. Thousands of them refuse to return home, instead staying in these sprawling makeshift camps on the edge of India's capital, poised to re-enter the city unless Modi repeals the new laws. Javeer's been here since November, sleeping in this truck with 7 other farmers.
We all sleep here and change here. The tanker over there is what we use to take baths.
These protests have brought people together.
People from all religions, Hindus, Muslims, Sikhs, Christians, now stand united with a sense of fraternity. There are politicians who try to divide us. They spread rumors about other communities. That's how they do politics. Otherwise, humankind is one. The same blood runs through all of us.
Javeer has a 4.5-acre farm in the fertile state of Haryana, one of the largest farming regions in India. He grows wheat and rice there. But to bring in more income, he started growing vegetables. And while he's away fighting for their future, his family must still carry on running the farm, tending the crops.
We all do the farming. None of us are literate. We are born into poverty and married into poverty.
It can feel like a losing battle, though. His whole family must live off just $1,000 income a year, but they've had to borrow to invest in the farm and are saddled with $13,000 debt.
Farming is a very costly business, and sometimes when there's a drought or a flood, we can't handle the expenses. There are so many expenses, which is why I am in debt.
He's not alone. According to the Indian government's own figures, more than half of all farmers are in debt, and for many, the burden is too much to bear. Over the last 2 years, more than 20,000 farmers took their own lives, mainly due to debt and bankruptcy.
People have passed away, and to this day, Modi couldn't find it in his heart to pay his respects to the departed. What kind of cruelty is this?
These protests are a huge test for the world's largest democracy. Modi's government has been criticised for controversial new citizenship laws and targeted restrictions on internet access. Last year, India ranking 111 out of 162 on the Human Freedom Index.
This is killing democracy. People's rights are being subjugated. It's our right to gather.
And this past September, Amnesty International ceased operations in the country, citing a government witch hunt after the NGO's bank accounts were frozen. But the government insists it acts only for the public's safety. And so far, opinion polls still suggest Modi's government remains hugely popular.
Crumbling of institutions that has taken place, lack of any kind of independent accountability in the country is extremely worrying.
But these protests are his biggest political challenge to date.
This movement will not fail. All the farmers of India are one in this movement. We stand united. We will only move when we are victorious. Victory shall be ours, and the evil laws will have to be taken back.
Ian Pannell for ABC News Live.
Protesting there for months. Our thanks to Ian.